So the thing I miss, or I'll say it this way. Remember, with all this shit going on, we have protests, we have riots, we got a fucking racist president, we got all this shit going on. I miss simpler times where the biggest problem in the world was if Popeyes had the best chicken sandwich. You're like that. I love Popeyes. You know what's one thing though you've never heard at Popeyes? That was a pleasant experience. I don't know anybody that's ever been uttered in any Popeyes ever. I'm like, who wrote the training manual for Popeyes? You just walk in and they're like, when the customer comes in, greet them with the universal Popeyes greeting. Yeah? Right? Once the customer has completed his order, inquire if he might want something else by asking, that it? Dude, I walk into Popeyes, I feel like I've walked into their home. You know, like I feel like I'm the employee. I'm like, oh, no, take your time. You know, I'll be here. Do you need anything while I wait? You know, are you good? This is why I love Popeyes, but, you know, not the best customer service. I don't know. Oh, before I start, I should apologize. I didn't necessarily do anything, but I am a straight white male, and I kind of feel like everything's our fault right now. You know? Which sucks, too, because, like, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I went to all black school, all black church, blah, 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 whatever white people say before they say something about black people. But it's like I don't know what I can or can't say anymore, just like as a straight white dude. Like I got in trouble just for using the letter S, just using the letter S. My buddy Jamal is getting ready to move down here to LA, and if you can tell by the name Jamal, he's not white, right? So I've lived in, I always love when the audience tenses up. So I've lived in lots of areas in LA. He's asking me about the areas. He's like, Jay, you've lived around. He's like, what are the people like in Glendale? I was like, well, you got everybody, but mainly Armenians, right? Nothing wrong with Armenians, right? All right. See if you stay on board. All right. He's like, all right, well, what about West Hollywood? What about people like there? I was like, again, you got everybody, but mainly gays. He's like, oh, well, where do you live? I was like, oh, I live in Hawthorne in Inglewood. He's like, what are the people like there? I was like, you know, it's mainly blacks. And he was like, whoa, Jay. I go, what? He goes, dude, you can't say blacks. And I'm like, I pluralized every other group and just threw an S on black. I'm like, what's wrong with blacks? He's like, I don't know, just as a white guy, you probably shouldn't say blacks. And then I tried to argue with him. I was like, dude, if across the street there's a group of black guys, I'm like, hey, look, there's some blacks. It does sound bad. It does sound bad. Holy shit. It does sound bad. But nobody can tell me why, you know? Like, the only other group that sounds weird when you pluralize it is whites. Like, you're like, hey, look, there's a bunch of f***ing whites. You know? But nobody really says that, right? Unless it's a bunch of blacks, right? All right. We still here? Okay.